Good morning. My name is Ashley Delane, and this is Kelly Ziegler. We are certified mediators and have been trained to hear disputes such as the one before us today. Our purpose here today is to act as the mediators in this case and to assist you in the resolution of the dispute that brings us to the table. Let me begin by stating that I am not here to represent either side, any particular position. I will not express partiality or take sides during this process. My goal is to assist each of you in reaching an acceptable settlement of this matter. I have no power to impose a decision on you or to decide how this matter should be settled. In a mediation session, I ask you to verify that you willingly accept the opportunity to participate so that you are both comfortable with each other's good intentions. I will have you sign agreements to participate in this process. Confidentiality is a critical part of this process. Generally, if you tell me something in private and ask me to keep it confidential, I am bound by the law not to disclose of this information voluntarily. Having said that, I want you to please remember the facts that were discoverable before the mediation session do not become confidential merely because they are presented during a mediation conference. It is only those things you say or write in confidence to me during this mediation that I will not disclose.
Okay. Before we begin, let me explain the procedure that we will use. When I complete these preliminary statements, each of you will have the opportunity to make an uninterrupted opening statement to describe the problem you see it. First, I will ask Mr. Kobayashi to make an uninterrupted opening statement. I would like it if both of you could explain yourselves from start to finish on the matter. Please keep in mind that we need to be respectful of one another and to not interrupt each other when we speak. Afterwards, I will then ask Mr. Smith to tell us his side of the story. After that, we will transition into a joint discussion centering on possible solutions. And I ask that each of you be thinking of how you might like to resolve this matter. If we reach an agreement today, it will be written and each of you will be asked to verify and sign it. I will also sign it as a witness. Each of you will be provided with a copy of the agreement today. At this time, please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. Let me once again congratulate you for being here today to try to work this out. Your presence here today demonstrates your willingness to attempt cooperative problem solving. So are there any questions at this point?
No.
Okay, so let us proceed. Mr. Kobayashi, if you could please give us your point of view on the ongoing dispute.
Yeah, so I have a lot of problems with Mr. Dale Smith here, and I brought a notebook just to list them all out, because there are a few. There are 3 big problems I've had with my dad's neighbor, who, is this man. So earlier during the year, he threw a substance in my father's backyard, and my father has a lot of things in his backyard. That includes several plants, and I had koi fish, or he had koi fish. He had a koi fish pond as well. And I don't know why Mr. Dale decided to throw, some sort of substance. I don't know if it was a gas or, I don't know, it was just weird biohazardous substance that ended up killing several plants and it ended up killing the koi fish as well. And also as a result, my father had to go to the hospital. He had to get treatment for his eyes because you threw that thing over your fence to his backyard. And so, me and my father were pretty angry about that because I don't know why you had to throw some weird substance over your yard to ours, and it ended up killing half the yard and destroying it. Another instance that happened was also during early in the year was Mr. Dale Smith here. He decided to clean his side of the yard, and with a broom he went over and he knocked down a camera that was my dad's. You knocked down the camera and you ended up breaking it. And so just to recap, you've destroyed half the garden, the koi fish, which by the way was a present from my mother, who ended up passing away, and that's the only thing we had to remember her by. And and you knocked down a expensive camera, and you haven't even apologized since. And then after all of that destruction, you ended up threatening me in my father's garage. You ended up going totally crazy and threatening me about going to court, or not even just that, you were just saying that if I had any problems with you, you would try to physically like stop me. And I'm definitely not okay with that, and that's why we're here. Because I don't feel safe, my father doesn't feel safe at all, and I mean, the problem is my father, he doesn't speak English, so he can't communicate properly to you, and I think this is a racial issue. I think Mr. Dale Smith thinks that he can get away with such things because my father doesn't speak English and he can't communicate properly, and maybe that's why. So yeah, I'm not happy at all. I think this is totally ridiculous, and this kind of action needs to stop.
Mr. Smith, could you please give us your side of the story?
Well, yeah, first of all, I sprayed weed killer in my backyard, and I mean, I guess it happened to get into his backyard, but I really don't see how it's possible. And I've never seen any fish in that pond, so I don't know what he's talking about. And with the whole...
I can send you photos of the koi in the pond, like,
But I've never seen
they've
it
always
before.
been there. It doesn't matter.
Excuse me, at this moment, you had uninterrupted time, so can you please give him the chance to? Thank you.
Anyways, so so I've never seen the fish, and I don't see how a little bit of weed killer could end up killing half of his yard, all the plants in the yard. And about the camera, well, I saw the camera in pointing through my house and going through like my bathroom. So I feel like they are spying on me, and I really think that's weird. And which is why I knocked over their camera with a broomstick, because I felt like that was an invasion of my privacy, and I think they're crazy for spying on me. And they called the cops on me, telling the cops that I'm dealing drugs or something like that, and I think that's just ridiculous, because I'm definitely not doing that. So I think and I tried to come up to them because I wanted to be a good neighbor while him and his father were in the garage. I tried to come up to them to smooth things out, to work things out, because I do want to be known as a good neighbor. I don't want everyone else thinking that I'm a bad person in the neighborhood. So I tried to smooth things out, but he was doing his martial arts or whatever, the Asian people do. And I was gonna hit him, I was gonna fight, but I felt like I shouldn't do that because I should be the better person.
Can I just
So
say
I didn't,
one
so I
thing?
walked away.
Wait, can I just say one thing?
I'm sorry, are you finished?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Wait, you won't see exactly. So he is admitting that he wanted to physically assault me.
Only because
He was being aggressive. How is that being a good neighbor? I
Only
don't
because he was
understand.
doing martial arts.
Martial arts in my garage, in my father's garage. I'm nowhere near your place. I
As
don't
I
know
was
why.
trying to approach him to apologize for the situation.
So you do feel that his martial art practice was intended for you?
Yes, I felt like I was trying to smooth things out with him, and he was being crazy.
So I have a few things I'd want to disclose. So about that narcotics team, I never called, or my father can't even call the police either, because they don't speak English. We've never called a narcotics team, so you just suspect wrong. You're being antsy. And the other thing is, the camera has never faced your side of your yard. It's just diagonal, because we put a camera there because we have expensive things, or we had expensive things thanks to your weed killer. We had expensive things in the garden, and we wanted to make sure that no one was, stealing anything or breaking or destroying the yard. That's the only thing we have. And even though you did break the camera, we still have the SD card. Like, you can see the video footage. It's nowhere like near pointing your area. So I think you were just being antsy and decided to just, use your broomstick and just destroy a camera that wasn't even your property. So I think the person who's invading privacy is Dale.
Okay, so from what I understand, this is sort of a privacy issue on your part in the destruction of the camera.
Right, but it was in my father's yard. That's the issue.
Okay. Okay, could you explain your thinking about this privacy issue?
Well, I just think it's weird that the camera just happens to be looking through my bathroom. I mean, even if it is in his yard, I still don't think it should be pointing towards my house. So, which is why I wrote.
Right, but the majority of the shot is shot in the yard. And I have video footage proof to show you that.
So would you be willing to show this proof that,
Of course.
so that is willing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't
And,
I?
and your main issue is a safety issue? You feel that,
Well, yeah, okay,
or
so
what is your issue?
if being a good neighbor means that you go and threaten and try to physically assault your neighbors or your father, for example, right? I think that's totally wrong. I think he should stop this kind of behavior, or he should not even just, I don't think he should be even near my father, because, we're scared. If he ended up killing half the garden and being all aggressive, destroying a camera, and what's next, right? I mean, I think that's the issue here. I think that's the main issue.
So you're worried that his previous actions can lead to possible further
Yeah.
actions that might cause harm?
And you just heard him, and it's on the video right now. You just heard him that he already has this negative view on Asian people. I mean, that's a stereotype. You thinking that martial arts is just an Asian thing? You can already tell that he already has this bias.
Well, I just don't know their culture.
That doesn't matter. The main issue is I don't want to wake up one morning and get a call and from my dad saying that, he's now breaking a window because he thinks that we're looking through it, or some ridiculous thing like that. I don't think this is good.
Well, my main thing is that I have no idea why the DA has charged me with vandalism.
Because you
In
broke.
relation.
Because did you not understand? You killed half the garden. You killed several plants.
Unintentionally though, I
And
just sprayed a little bit of
and you
weed
threw
killer
a
in my
substance over your yard to ours, and it ended up killing half the plants. I have video footage of that too.
Well, I have no,
It's some sort of gas. I don't know what it is. A little
So
capsule.
you're saying that you have physical video footage that he purposely and intendedly threw over?
I see. I don't know if
The
it's
toxins.
intended or whatever,
that's what I'm saying, it
But,
wasn't
hey,
intended.
but
I
you-
sprayed my
but-
backyard.
but it ended up
Weed killer.
flying over your yard. I don't know if you had a spasm or whatever, but it ended up going over the yard and hitting ours, and it ended up killing half the garden
Okay.
and killing all 9 of the koi fish.
I don't believe that it killed the
So-
garden.
If you're now saying that it was not intent, or that you don't know if it was intentional or not, what exactly do you have footage of?
I have footage of the garden and
Of the
how
garden.
and how everything was dying. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
but here's the thing: we only have half of the footage because the camera's broken. Do you understand?
Right.
We still have the SD card. It works, right? It has footage there. The camera itself cannot film anything else because it's broken.
okay, so from what I understand, your actions with your weed plant killer were just towards your backyard. You had you didn't have the intentions of destroying their
Correct,
yard.
I don't have the
right?
intention and I don't think it's possible that his plants can be killed from a little bit of weed killer that I use in my side of the yard.
But it was unintentional, which is, which is fair to say, and what might help the two of you come together on this issue? I know the destruction of your camera, are you willing to cooperate with him on that? What do you-
Well, I just don't want any trouble. I don't want to be charged with anything right now. I'm already in a lot of things with court. Like I already have a record. My wife left me and she's trying to take away the kids. So I really don't need this type of record right now.
And what might help you
Well, I have several things.
come together?
So, the district attorney says that there are the costs or at least the damage costs, equate to $3,500. But I don't want any money. I don't need any monetary value. That's not the issue. I think I think a full restoration of the garden, how it was. I think that's important because that means a lot to my father, and that's the only thing he has that reminds him of my mom, who passed away last year. And so what I would want restored, I would want a 15-year-old lemon tree, a 10-year-old apple and cherry tree, 6 rose bushes, new sod, and the soil needs to be amended, as well as the 9 medium-sized koi fish that were killed, which were presents, which I should remind you, which were presents from me and my siblings to my mother.
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
Well, as a gesture of goodwill, I'm willing to give the family $500 for landscaping. Just because I think.
But that's not enough. The district attorney says $3,500 at least in damages. And all I want you to do is just hire a certified landscaper to just restore the whole garden. At least, the things that you killed.
I know a landscaper who can do it, and odds on I'm willing to give is $500.
Okay.
Because I think $3,500 is ridiculous.
Well, I think it's ridiculous that your weed killer ended up killing half the garden. I think it's ridiculous and unfair.
Okay, did you say you know a landscaper that is willing to do the amount of work?
Yeah, he's willing to do the amount of work for $500.
Okay.
And because this landscaper is willing to do the amount of work that you are requiring, would that suffice?
For $500?
I mean, regardless of the monetary amount, and you just claimed that you didn't care, right?
Well, I don't care. I just want the things that I listed.
So if he has a landscaper
Yeah.
that is willing to do all the work that you have listed,
Yeah, then that's fine.
then that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. I just need to remind you that a koi fish, one single koi fish is $300. So I don't think you'll have enough money to repair or to replace all the fish.
Well, I think he would need to have proof that he had the koi fish, because I've never seen it in his pond.
That's perfect. I have proof. I have proof of the koi fish.
Okay.
Every single one of them.
Okay, so have you given any consideration into the koi fish and that he did have koi fish and that maybe that you should consider reimbursing for partial?
I just don't think that's fair, because I really don't think my weed killer killed the fish, even if there was fish in the first place.
But then how do you explain the death of the plants and all 9 koi fish? That they just didn't, it's not a coincidence, they just didn't decide to just drop dead, right? With all the plants, there has to be something, right? And you were having weed killer, and my father, I have to remind you guys, my father went to the hospital for the eye condition because of this weed killer, supposed weed killer. This gas that ended up leaking all over the place. And as I said, you threw some substance. I have video footage of that, and we have the capsule.
So when your father went to the hospital
Yes.
for his eye condition because of this supposed
Mhm.
weed killer, the hospital or the doctors or whoever foresaw him did state that that was.
Well, it was an
the reason-
irritation of a gas substance. That's what they said.
Okay.
He's fine now, right? That's, he's good, thank God. Thank God you didn't, take his eyes too.
Okay, but you're
Well-
positive that this gas is the cause?
Yeah, the cause of the death
The
of
gas of
several
his-
plants and, yeah, of course,
Feathers.
yeah. No doubt. Plants and fish don't die at the same time in one day just because.
Well, I'm willing to reimburse his father and whatever him.
Because if you want criminal charges to be dropped, you're gonna have to at least promise to reimburse us
I will reimburse if he
and
has proof
and
of everything.
and not act so aggressive to my father, or don't even talk to him at all. That's what I want.
I agree, I won't talk to him.
Yeah.
No.
Just leave him alone because I don't want to end
He
up.
doesn't speak to me anyway, so
Yeah,
I won't
well, it's
approach him or
perfect.
talk to him.
I don't want you near my father. Because if you're acting aggressive towards me, then who knows what you'll do to my father.
I need
He
all the
can't
charges.
defend himself.
to be
He's an
dropped.
86-year-old man. Like, no.
Okay, well, we're making some leeway here and we're addressing the issues, and so even though it doesn't seem like it, you guys are making progress, and that's good. So you are willing to pay for the damages that his backyard is?
Yes,
Okay,
but as long as he has proof of everything.
okay,
And if it's only the damage from the supposed weed killer that killed his plants, I won't pay for anything that wasn't there or wasn't damaged by it.
okay. And you are willing to drop?
Yeah, I'm willing to drop all charges if he promises to not act aggressive to my father, and if everything that I listed, he pays for that, we have no problems.
And you are willing to dispose of all
Yeah.
evidence required?
Yeah.
To prove?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Ashley and I will make up some written statements, and we can also review the video footage just to clarify that that was the destruction, and once we go over that, we can come together again and sign the paperwork, if that's all right with you.
Okay,
Okay?
that's good.
Okay, thank you for your time, and Mr. Kobayashi and Mr. Smith, thank you very much.
Good morning, my name is Sabrina Morad, and this is Rudy Reyna. We are certified mediators and have been trained to hear disputes such as the one before us today. Our purpose here today is to act as the mediators in this case and to assist you in the resolution of the dispute that brings us to this table. Let me begin by saying that I am not here to represent either side, any particular position. I will not express partially or take side during this process. My goal is to assist each of you in reaching an acceptable settlement of this matter. I have no power to impose a decision on you or to decide that this matter should be settled. In a mediation session, I ask you to verify that you willingly accept the opportunity to participate so that both of you are comfortable with each other's good intentions. I will have you sign agreements to participate in this process. Confidentiality is a critical part of this process. If you tell me something in private and ask me to keep it confidential, I am bound by law not to disclose any information, and that goes as well for Rudy. Yeah.
So before we begin, let me explain the procedure that we will use. When I complete these preliminary statements, each of you will have the opportunity to make an uninterrupted opening statement to describe the problem as you see it. First, I will ask Mr. Kobayashi to make an uninterrupted opening statement. I would like it if both of you could explain yourselves from the start to finish on the matter. Please keep in mind that we need to be respectful of one another and to not interrupt each other when we speak. Afterwards, I will then ask Mr. Smith to tell us his side of the story. After that, we will transition into a joint discussion centering on possible solutions, and I ask that each of you will be thinking of how you might like to resolve the matter. If we reach an agreement today, it will be written, and each of you will be asked to verify and sign it. I will also sign it as a witness. Each of you will be provided with a copy of the agreement today. At this time, please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. Let me once again congratulate you for being here today and to try to work this out. Your presence here today demonstrates your willingness to attempt cooperative problem solving. So, are there any questions at this point? Mr. Smith, Mr. Kobayashi? No? Okay, if not, let's proceed. Mr. Kobayashi, could you please tell us your point of view on the ongoing dispute, please?
Yes, so Dale here has thrown over a substance into my father's backyard, and my father is an 86-year-old man. He's Japanese, he doesn't speak English, that's why I'm here representing for him, and he threw over a substance into my father's backyard, which scared him, it frightened him, and it caused him to seek medical treatment for his eyes. Luckily, he's okay, thank God, and but that substance has caused the backyard to basically be destroyed. Plants were destroyed, there's sod, and most importantly, my father's koi fish, which were from my mother who is now deceased, and that's the most important thing to my father, is because it's the only thing that he holds on to in his life. And that's the most important factor of this entire conflict. But not only that, he came with a broom and knocked over the camera in my backyard and broken the camera, and camera no longer works. And he's also threatened my father and I when we were in our garage, and he came up and got into our face. He did not actually hit us, but he threatened us. And so my father's very frightened, and he lives alone. He's almost a 90-year-old man. And yeah, so I'm pretty distraught about this.
So do you have any concerns about this situation? What are your main concerns?
My main concerns is for the safety of my father, because he's threatened us, and he's threatened my father. And also the concerns about our destruction of my property. He's broken my father's camera. I don't know what else he's capable of doing. If he thinks that he can just go over to in my backyard and sweep something with a broom and throw over substance, I don't know what else he has the potential of doing. My father's very scared, and I'm scared for him. So.
Okay. Is this everything you need to? Is this everything you want to say for the opening statement?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Smith, would you like to proceed with your point of view?
Sure. First, I'd like to state that I personally have no idea why the DA has charged me with vandalism and why I was arrested. I mean, I feel that you and your father reported to the police that I'm a drug dealer or something, because I can't like imagine why like the police would come and actually arrest me. And I mean, yes, I did use like a Roundup weed killer in my yard. I don't know what you mean. It got into yours or how that happened. I used it in my yard alone. So I mean, that's just that. But this whole camera situation, like the camera is facing me in my bathroom. Like that is an invasion of my privacy. And I mean, regardless of what you may think or what you may do, like that's like normal or whatever, I'm threatened or I'm scared, because why is there a camera? Like why are you guys watching me in my bathroom? I don't watch you in your bathroom. I don't have a camera set up toward your property. I mean, how is that right for them to have a physical camera and set it up toward my property and watch me? Like that's not okay. So yeah, no. And I just don't understand like why I have these vandalism charges. What did I vandalize?
Okay, well.
Oh, sorry. Are you done, Mr. Smith? Are there any other impeding concerns over this situation that you'd like to share?
Well, I don't really appreciate your father being like so rude, because I've tried to come over and talk to him on number of occasions, and he just won't talk to me. Like I don't.
Well, there's just a cultural barrier. He doesn't speak English. It's not that he doesn't want to talk to you or he doesn't want to resolve this conflict. He doesn't speak English. That's why I'm here. He can't resolve this issue with you. He's very distraught about it and he's scared of you, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to resolve this. He's frightened. He was frightened by the substance, and it hurt his eyes, and now the koi fish, the only thing that he basically held on to in his life that reminded him of my mother's, they're all dead. His backyard's completely dead when he looks into his backyard. And I don't know why you think that we turned you into the police, but we did not. And we have no other cameras around the property, and the camera was not facing your house.
Okay, but why was I
for
arrested?
security.
So I mean,
I don't know.
you didn't report this to the police, but I mean, all of a sudden it winds up in the DA's office, and we're here today because of recommendation from the DA, but you didn't report anything?
Nope, I didn't.
Mr.
Right.
Smith, did you intentionally break the camera?
I mean, whether it was like intentional or not, like,
But was it your intention to break the camera?
should the camera have been like faced toward my property and like looking at me?
You think it was right to?
I mean, I may have accidentally
So you-
took my
Or
broom.
were you accidentally cleaning around it?
I mean, yeah,
Had to
I
just
was
go over.
cleaning
It wasn't
around and I like accidentally, I didn't know it broke, but I guess it may have broke the camera on accident, but I mean, I was just
Because you
saying.
felt like your privacy.
I
was
mean,
invaded.
yeah, my privacy is definitely being invaded. I mean, there's no reason. I'm sorry what you feel or what you think the camera is being used for, but how am I to know what the camera is actually doing when it's facing my property and it's always on? Like, I don't know what you're filming.
It's for our security, for my father's security, which definitely obviously needs to be reinforced because that chemical damaged his eyes and he had to go to the hospital. And the camera was not facing your house or your property. It was not to spy on you. It was for my father's protection, which is being like you're not making him feel safe.
So how did I threaten him? Because earlier you said that you guys were threatened by me. So what have I done to
You came
threaten
into our
you?
house and you threatened us. You threatened us with physical violence.
Oh, I threatened you, so I put my hands on you?
So
No, but you
I
threatened
have to say,
us with physical
we're gonna have to communicate, but one at a time, so we can't just have this ping pong
Sure,
way
I
of
mean,
talking.
as long
Now-
as he agrees to interrupt me.
Of course, that's fine.
Okay.
So, over the course of the mediation, let's just do we'll just do it by turns, yes?
Okay.
Now, you said that Mr. Smith here went and threatened you, both
Yes.
you and your father, you
Yes,
said?
yes.
And where did this happen?
He came over
Sorry,
to,
could you please elaborate over how he threatened you?
Yes.
What was
please.
said?
he
Why you
he
thought,
threatened us
what
with
kind of
physical violence,
cues?
that he was going to hurt us.
He told you
Yes.
that he was going to threaten you,
Yes,
and he was going to hit you.
yes.
One moment, sorry, Mr. Smith. Could you please elaborate more of what he said? What were like cues that kind of,
Well, he came in over to our house, and while we were in the garage, and he said, and he came up very aggressive, like he was going to hit us, and then he never did, but he definitely threatened to hurt us.
Now, Mr. Smith, would you like to
Thank you.
retort?
Yes, I did go over to their garage, but I mean, might I add, I mean, you were practicing some like martial art, Asian something in the garage and doing all these kicks and punches and stuff. So, I mean, you want to talk about feeling threatened, and I felt threatened. I mean, I'm walking up to you and all of a sudden you start like going kung pao on me. Like, I didn't
So you
threaten
believe?
you, I didn't.
So you believe that the martial arts that they were practicing were going to be used
Oh,
towards against you?
I definitely think that they were intended for me.
What made you think this?
I mean, I walk up and he is just all of a sudden kicking, and I felt like he got more intense as soon as I entered the garage. Like, he really wanted to show me, like, oh yes, this is what I can do. Because at first, you're just like, I guess you were practicing your martial art karate stuff, and I walk in, and all of a sudden, like, what you were doing got so much more intense. Like, he was really putting effort into like really kick and punch and stuff, and I did not feel safe myself. So if I came off like aggressive or threatening, it was only in self-defense, because I would never personally threaten. I'm not a violent person.
What was
I
your
don't.
intention of going to the house in the first place?
Well, my intention, as I've stated, like I think that I'm a reasonable person, and I wanted to talk to you and like just to get an understanding of what's going on and fix whatever was happening. You know, after I was arrested, because I was arrested. And
Over the charges.
right,
that
I
you were-
was arrested
charges?
over charges
We never
that
called
they
the
didn't
police.
report on, and all of a sudden we're here today, and the DA all of a sudden asks us to meet in mediation over vandalism charges that they didn't report on.
Right, so you suspect that Mr. Gobayashi and his father called the authorities to and pushed drug charges and made some narcotics team. Do you think that they called the narcotics team
Okay,
too?
well, we
Okay,
didn't call.
Right.
Wait.
Just give me 1 second. Do you think?
So I will say that maybe they didn't call like specifically for drugs, but I mean, how I was arrested, they treated me as if it was a drug charge. But sorry, they did call. I mean, for him to sit here and say that they did not make a call. I mean, How does that even make sense? Of course, there had to have been a call made, else we would not be here today. How does the DA know about this ongoing situation? Why are we meeting here? And why is he continuing to say that he did not report an issue of this so-called vandalism if we're here today?
Okay, so now you are allowed to speak.
Okay, I'm
You're
allowed to
currently
speak
denying. You're currently denying that you didn't call any narcotics team to check his house.
No, I don't know
Yes.
why he thinks that we called the police. And also, if he's coming over to my house and I'm practicing martial arts, it's because I was working out. So
Mhm.
I didn't get any more aggressive. I was simply working out. And my so-called karate, I feel that you're disrespectful towards my father because we're Japanese and he doesn't speak English. And it's our so-called karate. We were working out. I wasn't threatening you. You threatened us.
Okay. But see, this is the reason why we're all here, right? We're here to communicate, and obviously you guys weren't able to do this prior.
Right, and I
To
mean, I really
mediation,
did
but
try.
That's why we're here. No? So now you know that his family, or him and his father didn't call any narcotics team, so they're not at fault.
You know,
We can also check their call history, so you can find out that if they did or if they didn't, we can find that out later. And
no, I agree.
why do you think that they decided to call on vandalism?
I mean,
First, Mr. Smith. Sorry.
well, first, before we even go into that, I would like to say that, like, do you think I'm racist or something? Because I'm not racist. And I don't appreciate these accusations on my character because I'm not racist. I'm sorry, I'm just ill-informed on the Japanese culture. But I am an educated person. I do believe in education, and I would be willing to educate myself on the Japanese culture to inform myself so I can be more educated. But I'm not a racist, and I don't wish to be called a racist. But now that that's been said, going back to these vandalism charges, and yes, maybe perhaps they didn't call for drug charges, but there was a call made for vandalism charges. And I guess they assume that this so-called vandalism is because of my weed killer.
The weed killer?
I'm guessing,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Is that the reason why you called for vandalism?
No, I never called any police,
No.
first and foremost.
Okay.
No, never called any police.
Mhm.
Um,
And you have proof of this? right?
Yes.
Correct?
I proved this.
Okay.
Never called the police.
Okay.
But I also have proof of the substance that was thrown into my backyard because my father went to the hospital for it.
Right, and you have medical records
Right,
that for the
Right.
reason
And
why?
and he's okay, my major concern is obviously my father, and his major concern is the koi fish. And it's the
Right.
most important thing to him. It's because my mother died and that's all he had left for him. And his backyard, he looks out and it's all dead. And that was what kept him alive. And he's 86 years old. I want him to be happy and have a peaceful set of mind and not feel threatened by the neighbor.
Mhm.
Mr. Smith, did you purposely throw the weed killer?
Oh no. I would never purposely throw anything over your yard or over my yard into yours. Oh no, that was never at all my intention. I was simply I had some overgrown weeds and I wanted to get rid of them, so I used the weed killer. And I'm very happy that your father is okay. I mean, I wouldn't wish any harm upon him. But these koi fish I've never seen. I've never seen these koi fish. And I mean, if they were gifts, I just, do you have proof that they're koi fish? Because I personally have just never seen them.
Right, do you have
Okay,
proof?
of course
Mr.
it is.
Goyashi?
Yes, of course why would you see my fish? It's not like you look into my backyard, I would hope not. But yes, of course we have koi fish.
Okay, so what other main concerns do you might have, Mr. Goyashi?
I would like, I just want my father's backyard restored and the koi fish, and I'm willing to come to negotiation about dropping the charges if you can fix my backyard and replace the koi fish.
So these are your needs,
Mhm.
to replace the koi fish?
Yes,
Okay, and to not be,
yeah,
or not show an aggressive nature towards you and your father?
yes, Yes,
That's what you're
exactly.
claiming?
Not
Yes?
feel threatened.
Your needs, okay. How about your needs? What do you think?
My
your
needs. Well, first, I would like to say I'd also like to not feel threatened because we're using this whole feeling threatened thing, and I feel threatened by you also. So if we can have respect for each other and not threaten each other, that would be great. And I mean, like you said, I mean, what keeps your father alive and going, these koi fish that he lives for. I mean, let's talk about what keeps me alive and going. I have children. And I've recently been divorced, and my ex-wife is filing a custody charge. And I don't need these charges. I need them to be dropped because my children are what I live for. I see them every day, and they're what makes me happy. They what make my day. And I mean, I don't have a lot of money, but I mean, I am willing to give you $500 in restoration toward your garden as long as these charges are dropped and we have a respect of not threatening each other.
Right.
Because, I mean, I live for my children and they are everything to me.
So do you have any specific items that need restoration or replacement? Do you have any of
Yes,
those?
well, the koi fish altogether will amount to about $300, and if you're able to, with the remainder of your money, landscape, I have a series of things I need. I need a 15-year-old lemon tree, a 16-year-old apple and cherry tree, 6 rose bushes, a new sod and soil, and then the koi fish. And, you know, if the amount of money that you have doesn't amount to the 15-year-old lemon tree, as long as the lemon tree and the cherry tree and everything else is replaced, and you're able to hire a certified landscaper and pay them directly, then I can promise to drop the criminal charges.
Do any of you have a specific landscaper in mind?
Well, I actually know some landscapers that would be willing to do the job, I mean, and do a great and sound job on the garden.
Mhm.
And it would work for me. So that would work, but I'd also like to add another need that I have. I don't want that camera, or I don't want any other cameras facing my property. I feel invaded, and I'm sorry if that's not what your intentions were, but I can't have a camera facing my property.
Yeah, we won't have a camera facing your property. We also don't want to be threatened by you as well.
Oh yeah, no, and I don't want to be threatened by them either, so.
So you can keep the camera and you can have it facing your yard, right? Because I think that's the main,
Mhm.
Yeah, as long as it's not
objective now of the
facing
camera.
me and invading my privacy.
And if they show you how the camera's faced and maybe record some footage while it's facing at that angle?
Facing my.
No, their yard,
Oh,
at
well,
that angle,
yes.
and you have
So
proof
you
that
can
the
feel
video
comfortable.
camera?
Oh, yes, because I mean, I want you to feel as comfortable as you can, I just don't want to be invaded.
Okay, you'll be fine with that if they
Yes,
have
as
a
long
camera?
as they can show me what is being recorded.
Okay, that's fine. And you will pay directly a landscaper to,
Yeah, I will
Restore?
pay a landscaper to restore
okay.
your garden or
Okay.
your.
Yeah. as
And
long
then
as it's
hopefully
certified.
there aren't other outbreaks or
Yeah, I mean, I would really much respect.
misunderstandings, no?
I mean, yes, I understand now that your father does only speak Japanese and he doesn't speak English.
Mhm.
But I don't see a reason for there to be hostility around us or anger around us. I feel like if there's an issue, if I can't directly come to your father, I would love to come to you instead of someone. I mean,
Mhm.
regardless, you didn't say that you didn't call or anything. But just in case, instead of someone taking matters out of our own hands.
Maybe exchange contact information for this
Right, I
to
would
be
much
easier.
rather appreciate if you just come to me instead of, I mean, not saying that you did or anything, but.
Right, but now we understand the issue and hopefully
Right.
we've come to a good solution for the both of you that, has met both of your needs and,
Yes.
Yes, I
does this make
feel,
sense to you
I
you
feel
both?
that works for me as long as, I mean, we treat each other with respect and he's not threatening me and
Mhm.
I'm not threatening him
Okay,
and we have a communication aspect. I feel that this could work.
so recap on the solution, right? So Mr. Goyashi, and your father will be, I guess, your garden will be restored,
Okay.
as Mr. Dale Smith will pay directly a contractor for the restoration of this garden, some plants and koi fish. And for you, the criminal charges will be dropped.
Right.
Does this make sense? And then
And the camera is not.
and the camera's not facing
Thank
exactly.
you.
And the camera's not
Yes.
facing. Sorry, the camera's not facing anywhere near your yard.
Right.
Okay. Criminal charges dropped, and hopefully you guys can have better communication in the future.
I would
So
love that because, and I'm going to educate myself more on the Japanese culture
Okay.
because I want to be a
that's perfect.
well-liked, good neighbor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Smith and Mr. Gobayashi. You can have a good day.
Thank you for being here.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Hi, we're group 5. I'm Kaylee.
Ashley.
I'm Rudy,
I'm Sabrina.
and yeah, we're going to debrief our 2 mediations. So, what do you guys think we did right during the mediation?
I think this mediation went a lot smoother than last time. We all had a lot to say, and the mediators did a really, really good job in facilitating like a real life situation. We all asked really good questions, and we were able to like interrupt one another without, because last time we were all really nervous about like when to interrupt or even what to say.
Right.
And this time we really had like a good background in what we were going to say. We all like read up on the book and had questions, and I think we learned a lot in last class period too. He gave us a lot of information that
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah, I feel that we were much more prepared and that you can definitely tell in like comparison to the first mediation, the amount of research that has been done after the first, because I feel that we did bring a lot of new techniques and more advanced theories to the table. It really helped move along the mediation process, but I know the first time as a mediator in both situations, I thought it was a lot harder to, like you said, intervene or bring up things to say
Yeah.
or even talk at all, because I mean, the parties are talking, you don't want to disrupt them, you're just like, what do I say? And so I did feel that that did work and that we did improve.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest strengths we have is our opening statements. They're pretty good. I
Yeah.
think they're long enough to satisfy a requirement, right? And they're pretty, I don't know, they're just chock full of information that would be used in a normal mediation, in an actual professional mediation, right?
Yeah.
I also think we did a good job on researching our characters, right? And, I mean, I don't know about how portraying their actual emotions, but we, got the information down. We didn't really have to read off of like a paper.
Yeah.
Other than looking at the things that they needed and
Right.
listing all the lists that they needed.
Yeah.
That made no sense or whatever.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. As
Yeah.
parties, I think we like explained more and like digressed into the situation more. So it gave us more to talk about and more of the mediators to discuss about and find a
Mhm.
solution.
We're also pretty clear on how to address like their needs first, and then we make a good transition from what do they want, and then
Yeah.
how do we fix it,
Yeah, we did a good job.
and then we just end up getting a resolution.
Yeah.
And like with the parties, I definitely think, well, I know I get into character. I
Yeah,
think
you get it. She wins the Oscar.
No, but like I think it's pretty fun, and I think that we all do a good job of like
Actress.
analyzing our characters and portraying them as to what we think would actually happen or what would be
What
said.
they're feeling.
Yeah, it's fun
Yeah.
to like kind of like act like somebody, because you like, and once you read it, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of understand like where he's
Right.
coming from. So you have to like just act like it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy when you're like the parties and stuff. And this time it was a lot easier as a mediator. I wasn't so nervous. Last week I was really nervous about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to interrupt
No.
this time.
I was too scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just not knowing what to
We
say.
didn't know what to
Yeah,
say.
we
We didn't
didn't.
want to interrupt and get into it.
Yeah,
So-
we're learning.
What are things that we need to work on?
I think that some of the things we need to work on, maybe just being a little more emotionally involved
Mhm.
in as the parties, I guess, because maybe that would help us to get a longer video, because I know our timing isn't as good. Maybe I'm not too sure about it, but maybe it would just help us to keep like bickering as it would be in like, real life.
Right. Or like, I feel maybe even though like we're giving characters or we're giving their description, maybe developing them more
Yeah.
on our own
Yeah.
and creating like our own situations and instances to bring into mediation so that we can have more things to discuss and
Yeah,
talk
not
about.
just what the
So-
form says.
Right, so that it will just move it along. It's like if you're just going off the form, things can become like redundant and
Yeah.
like, it gets just
Yeah.
really like, scripted and short.
Yeah, just like
So-
throw out kind of some random
Right, and
things.
if we like take the time to like, I guess, yeah, develop our characters more, we can create a longer mediation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also think that the brevity of these like mediations,
Mhm.
that's our Achilles heel, because we
Yeah.
don't know how to keep, putting in more stuff. And yeah, I totally agree. Like we need to add more things to the characters, maybe add some twists to the
Yeah.
to the situation, right?
Yeah.
And that way it'll be longer. Also, what I noted from the first mediation to this one is we were a little bit more emotionally involved in the last one,
Yeah.
in terms of we interrupted the other person when they were giving their
Right.
point of view.
Yeah, we were a lot more like
yeah, we were
respectful
more-
of one another
well,
this time. I don't know
Yeah, I don't know
why,
why. Things,
but
no. But me and Ashley, we were pretty angry. We were pretty.
yeah. Well, I don't know
We
why.
were bad cookies
but
in the
I think
last
that the last it seemed a lot more tense though because of
Yeah.
the roles. The roles
Yeah.
seemed a lot more tense.
This
This
time
one,
the story was
I know
nice,
that they
like,
were
intense.
angry, but last one we were just able to like go.
Really
Like
go
hard
at
on each
it,
other,
right?
Because this one, it seemed that Dale Smith was inclined to actually help out the family, whereas the other one,
Yeah, he
he
wasn't.
was not.
Right,
He
at all.
did not want to like participate in how to like
At all.
finding a
And it was
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think we as mediators can do better?
I have a tough question.
That's kind of a tough question.
Well, I think because I think that we do give good opening statements, but I think maybe the way we end the mediation could be strengthened because I feel like we're not. I'm not sure if we are like supposed to explicitly like state that this is the agreement, but I felt as if we discussed as in terms of okay, well, what are you okay with and what are you okay with, but I didn't feel like it was like okay, like this is the
Yeah.
agreement. Are you like
Yeah.
are you going to like
Kinda
be
just
able to
end
work
it.
on right? Just end
Instead
it.
of like
So maybe like having more of an assertion
make
like
it more
toward
official.
right like what the actual agreement is and making sure everyone actually agrees to it and stating this is the proper agreement for the resolution to this situation.
I think I agree. I think I need to research some more on how to conclude it
Yeah.
a little better because it was kind of just like thank you, and that's kind of what I said. I was kind of unclear about the conclusion.
Well,
so
as
that's
a
true.
mediator, Rudy did recap it, and I thought that was
Yeah,
good.
recapping's
but
good.
a little bit, like we
Yeah.
should do more, I think. Like,
Recapping is good.
I think
Analyze it.
a good thing we should do is for each specific mediation, I think we should change the style of the mediator. Since for the last two mediations, or meetings, we've been kind of, not monotonish, but like, we've been very serious. Huh?
Yeah.
And you remember Professor Lawhorn, he was giving us examples of different types of mediators. I think we should add a little variety,
Different.
spice
Yeah.
it up.
I also think as mediators, like we need to like kind of make the mediation a little more organized. At the
Mhm.
parties, I feel like sometimes we end up like kind of jumping to
Mhm.
different
Like ping
topics.
pong, yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so like
Yeah.
maybe as mediators, we need to facilitate it more and just be like, let's focus on, this situation, and this situation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe a little more organized.
Like that's hard to do.
It's
though.
so
very
hard
hard.
because you have all these. It's hard to know what to say. It's hard
Right.
to like come up with something. I mean, I remember that paper that we had to do last week that like iMessages like
Mhm.
reflect. Maybe if we try to do that more, but it's just it's
Right.
hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
like,
There's
think
no
like
right
that.
answer.
Like, it's hard to
kinda just-
pinpoint your emotion.
Right.
Like will you seem angry and like come up with this entire phrase and
Yeah, I
like,
think
really
that's
mean
good.
I think that goes into play about being more emotionally involved with the characters.
yeah.
So if we get a little bit more aggressive, if we get more irrational, we'll be able to do, oh, okay, well, you
Right.
seem very angry, you seem very frustrated.
Yeah.
We'll be able to analyze it and,
Yeah.
reframe and
Mhm.
iMessage and stuff like that. So
Right.
I think yeah, our biggest issues or things that we just need to work on are the length of the video and being emotionally involved with the characters.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
But it's like when you're not the characters, like you're not actually
Yeah,
them.
this is
so
very
yeah,
difficult.
you
Yeah.
don't like really know how they're feeling, and it is hard to like actually embody their
Right,
character.
because we students were like, okay, how long is this going? Like,
Right, like that's all we worry about is the time.
That's all we're very
Yeah.
careful about.
Yeah, totally, I agree.
Yeah. And please provide any additional constructive feedback not captured in above questions. What do you guys think?
I think for myself, I know that I need to maybe just step away from my computer sometimes because I'll tend to look at my notes a lot. Especially when I was just doing that just now, I was like, at my party, I was like kind of reading, I was like, oh, because I was like nervous about forgetting something, but it's like, actually, I just need to like put it away and like rely on like,
Just act on
Yourself
it.
and
Yeah.
like,
Rely on myself.
naturally, yeah.
Right.
and just like kind of put that to the side. I mean, as a mediator, it's a lot harder. Like I feel like I do definitely need my notes, but as a party, I feel like I should put my computer away.
Right, because like, so if you mess up while playing a party, I mean, you just go with it.
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
they
exactly.
supposedly can't really know, like, oh,
Yeah.
well, what happened? So you make the most
And
of
you
it.
kind of, and then like you'll kind of remember like here and there, like, oh wait, well, you actually like you burned my eyes, or
Right.
you burned my father's eyes, or whatever.
So we need to focus more on the improv. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah,
Right.
let it be
Yeah.
natural rather than just reading off. I agree, I do that too.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like, personally for me, I feel that I need to more so just research more about mediation itself and how to become a better mediator, because I feel like during rounds of questioning or like after the opening statement, it's just like, okay, like I still
Kind of stuff.
don't,
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like I'm more inclined to ask questions or to jump in, but it's like I don't know necessarily when or how I should do it or like when it needs to be done, so I feel like maybe I should definitely like research more about.
Again, I think it's all down to the characters being as obstructive as possible, you know, because if they make it difficult for the mediators, then that allows us more time to act. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas if they're very
Discussion
obedient
or,
and they're
yeah.
very like inclined to like help, you know, the situation out, then, you know, they don't need a mediator.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not realistic.
Yeah, it's
for
not very
everyone to
realistic.
agree, like, so quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our debrief. And
Yeah.
hopefully you enjoyed it and as much as we did, and we'll see you next meeting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.